All right, this is lesson 2-4. Your essential question is, I can add integers. Remember, integers are positive and negative numbers. So if we were just adding the positive numbers, 3 plus 4, you know the answer is 7. But let me show you how you use a number line to show that. You'd start at 0, and you'd go to your first number. It's a positive 3, so I'd go up to the 3. There I am. And then I'm going to add to that 4. Whenever I add, I'm moving to the right. If I'm adding a positive number, I continue to go right. If I'm adding a negative number, I'll go left, kind of thinking of it almost as a minus. So I'm going up 4 more. 1, 2, 3, 4, and I end with 7. And that's my answer. We can use a number line to show negative addition as well. So here I have -5 plus -3, and sometimes you're going to see parentheses around that, and that's just showing you, it's not, I know we just did order of operations, but this is just saying this negative belongs to the 3. It's not saying -5 plus -3, which sounds confusing, so they sometimes put those parentheses around so it looks less confusing. So I'm going to go down to the -5, that's where I start. And then I'm going to add -3. Well, when I add a negative number, I'm going to go to the left. So I'm going to go to the left 3 more. 1, 2, 3. And I end with -8. So that's my answer. -8 plus 5, and go to the -8. Now I'm moving 5 to the right. I go to the right because it's a positive number. Think of a positive number as going toward the positive end on your number line, and the negative number is going toward the negative end on your number line. So I'm going to go up 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I end at -3. Let's try this one. It says 9 plus -2. Again, we might see these parentheses right here. So 9 is a positive 9 plus -2. I'm going to go backwards 2 because it's a negative. Remember, I said negatives were going to go toward the negative end. So 1, 2. And we have a 7. 7 is our answer. There's kind of a trick to this. And if you remember this song, it's going to help you so much. All you need to do is kind of sing the song in your head, and then you'll have it. So bear with me. I have a cold still. But I'm going to sing this to the tune of Row, Row, Row Your Boat. You can actually look this up on YouTube if you look up Row, Row, Row Your Boat integer song. And trust me, it's not much better than me singing with the cold, but it might be a little bit better. Okay, so same signs add and keep, different signs subtract. Keep the sign of the higher number, then you'll be exact. One more time, you can try it with me at home. Same signs add and keep, different signs subtract. Keep the sign of the higher number, then you'll be exact. And truthfully, I sing this a lot when I'm trying to help kids going through problems so that you know what to do. All it's saying is same sign. What it means by same sign is when you have both negative numbers or both positive numbers, like when we had 3 plus 4, you just keep the sign the same and add the numbers. So, for example, 3 plus 4 was 7. I kept it positive because it was positive. -7 plus -6, I'm going to ignore the negatives for a second and just say what's 7 plus 6? That's 13, and I'm just going to keep the sign. So keep the sign, right? I'm going to keep it negative, so -13. -4 plus -2 is 6, and it's negative, so I'm going to keep the sign negative. Now, when they're different signs, I'm going to subtract the numbers. You may have remembered when we did 9 plus -2, the answer was 7, and you might have been thinking in your head, that's kind of like 9 minus 2. Well, it sure is. So here we have 8 minus 3, or -8 plus 3. These are different signs. One is a negative and one is a positive. There's nothing there, so it means it's positive. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just take the big number minus the small number. Sometimes they're not in that order, but that's okay. You just take the bigger one minus the smaller one, and I have a difference of 5. Then the tricky part is I need to decide, is this a positive 5 or is it a -5? It's going to be a -5, and the reason I know that is I keep the sign of the bigger number, or think of it as the bigger absolute value, because -8 is obviously smaller than +3, but the 8 is what we're looking at, not the negative sign. So negative 5 is my answer. On the second one, it says 9 plus negative 7. So since I have a positive and a negative, they're different signs. Different signs subtract. I'm going to subtract the numbers. Keep the sign of the higher number, or the bigger number, which would be the 9, and that's positive. Then you'll be exact, a positive. Let me go through and just do a few problems. So these are the same sign. I'm going to add them and keep the sign negative. These are different signs, and I might want to go over here and write it out separately. To subtract, borrow, 13, that's 5, 4, 2, 125. Now I have to keep the sign of the higher number. 153 is higher than 28. Remember, we're not looking at our signs right now, but now I'll say, oh, this one was bigger, or there were more of these, so I'm going to make it negative 125. Negative 6 plus positive 9, again, they're different, so I'm going to subtract 9 minus 6, and I get 3. Keep the sign of the bigger number. 9 is bigger, so it's going to be positive 3. Here I have a negative 3 plus a negative 15. They're the same sign, so I'm going to add them and keep the sign. I have 3 numbers here. I'm just going to take it and do these 2 numbers first and then add 20 to my answer. So these are different signs. So since they're different signs, I'm going to subtract. I get 582 and keep the sign of the higher number. The higher number is positive, so I keep it positive and add 20, and I get 602. Now, I have to show you something. Do you notice how I got the answer that's in the middle? If I were paying more attention to begin with on this problem, I would notice that I have a negative 20 and a positive 20, and these two will just end up canceling each other out. Let's look at this bottom problem. It says, if you owe your mom $18 for a shirt, owing $18, we learned in a previous lesson that owing $18 is kind of like a negative $18 that you bought, and you get $50 for your birthday. I get $50. I'm going to call that a positive $50. Okay? Write an integer to represent the amount of money you have after paying your mom back. So it looks like I have negative $18 plus $50. These are different signs, so I'm going to subtract. I get $32. And do I have $32 or do I owe $32? And since I owed less money than I have, I end up having a positive amount of money. So, sorry, I shouldn't put a sign on there because it just would write the integer, didn't it? So it's just 32. I'd like you to try these problems, so pause your video and give them a whirl. All right, and then check your answers. You should have negative 4, negative 7, 5, negative 154, and negative 362. Cameron walked up 43 steps. That would be a positive 43. Then he tripped on his shoe and fell back down 4 steps. That would be a negative 4. Write and solve the addition problem that matches the story. That's the tricky part. You might say 43 minus 4, but another way to write that is 43 plus a negative 4. And then does it say solve? It sure does. So I end up with a positive 39 steps. All right, it's time to go to NICU and take a quick check and see how you're doing with integer addition.